So polishing a rough surface smoothens irregularities on it. We know that the smooth surfaces produces less friction, is not it? So that carom boards are highly polished to reduce friction, is not it? And by using lubricating oil also we can reduce friction. Okay, that means by lubricating the moving parts of machinery, the friction can considerably reduced, is not it? If the moving parts are light in weight, then light oil is used as lubricant. Okay, if the moving parts are heavy, then we need to use grease. Okay, and graphite can also be used as lubricants. Okay, and then friction can be reduced by providing wheels. Yes, we know that a suitcase if dragged on floor, then it will offer a large amount of friction, is not it? Which will oppose its motion. Okay, but if we use wheels, okay, that means if wheels are provided to it, then less amount of friction will be there, is not it? So that it can move easily, is not? So these are the methods of reducing friction. Now methods of increasing friction. We know that rough surfaces offers more friction than smooth surfaces, is not it? So tires of all kinds of vehicles are provided with deep grooves so as to increase friction. So that means the deep grooves of the tires of the vehicles, okay, produces larger friction, and this prevents the vehicle from skidding on wet roads and sharp turns, is not it? And the other one is the soles of shoes of athletes and mountaineers are provided with spikes and grooves for the same reason, is not it? And industrial belts are provided with rough surfaces so as to increase friction. This prevents the belts from slipping over moving iron pulleys. Okay, so these are the methods of increasing friction. Okay, now we'll discuss about units of force. So the commonly used unit for measuring force is kilogram force or kgf. Okay, so what is the definition of 1 kgf? The force of gravity acting on 1 kg mass is 1 kgf. Okay, and for measuring smaller forces, the unit is gram force. Okay, or gf. So what is 1 gram force? 1 gram force is the force required to lift a mass of 1 gram vertically upward. So this is the definition of 1 gram force. And the SI unit of force is Newton. Okay. What is the relation between kilogram force and Newton? 1 kilogram force is equals to 10 newtons. Okay. So how we can measure the force? So we can measure the force with the help of a spring. Magnitude and direction of force. Okay. So always remember that force is a vector quantity. So what is vector quantity? Which has both magnitude value and direction is called vector quantity. And what is scalar quantity? Those quantities which have only magnitude value, those are called scalar quantity. So force has both magnitude value and direction. So force is a vector quantity. So from its magnitude we can say that the force is larger or smaller. Okay, so the amount or the strength of force is called its magnitude. So from the magnitude we can say that the force is smaller or larger. So suppose if we consider two forces, one is 40 Newton and one is 10 Newton, then 40 Newton force is larger than 10 Newton force. So from the magnitude value we can say that the 40 Newton force is larger than 10 Newton force. Okay, and the magnitude of force is shown by a straight line. Okay, greater the length of the line, more is the magnitude value of force. Okay, and the direction of force is shown by placing an arrowhead over the line pointing the direction in which force is acting. Okay, so here the length of the line is 40, so 40 Newton force, and the arrow is towards the east. So that means the force is 40 Newton force acting towards east, and here the force is 600 Newton and towards the arrow is towards the west. So 600 Newton force acting towards west. So from this we can say that force has both magnitude value and direction. Okay, so if we consider that a boy trying to pull a heavy cart by applying a force equals to 200 Newton. Okay, but he is unable to move the cart, and then if another boy helps the boy with the same force, that means he is also applying 200 Newton force, then the cart suppose starts moving. Okay, so that means both the boy applying, that means both of the boy applying 200 Newton force in the same direction, is not it? So in case of total force, we have to add the two forces, okay, and the resultant force is larger, is not it? So that means the total force is 200 Newton plus 200 Newton, that means 400 Newton. Okay, so now cancellation and subtraction of forces. So if we consider that a boy trying to pull a heavy cart by applying 200 Newton force, suppose this boy applying 200 Newton force to pull the cart, okay, and then if another boy applies same amount of force in the opposite direction, then the magnitude value of the force is same, but the direction of the two forces are opposite, and hence the resultant force will be 200 Newton minus 200 Newton, that means 0, as the two forces are in opposite direction. Okay, and again suppose this boy trying to pull the heavy cart by applying 300 Newton force, and this boy trying to pull the cart applying 200 Newton force, and these two forces are also in opposite direction, is not it? And hence the resultant force will be the difference between the two forces, that means larger force minus smaller force. So that means 300 Newton minus 200 Newton, that means 100 Newton will be the resultant force. So from the above examples, we can conclude that when two forces are applied on the same body, okay, and at the same point and in the same direction, then the resultant force is equals to the sum of the two forces, is not it? And when the two forces are applied at the same point but in opposite direction, then the resultant force is equal to the difference of the two forces, is not it? And the direction of the resultant force will be the direction in which the larger force acts. Okay, in case of figure 3.31, the direction of the resultant force is towards the 300 Newton force. Okay, means here the direction is towards the direction of 300 Newton force. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you.